This week we're looking at ways to regain wasted space in your home, and one of the easiest ways to do that is to maximize the efficiency of your storage space. We'll also explore some options for adding a little living space to your place, whether that's in the suburbs or right in the middle of town. This week we're looking at a number of different ways to maximize every bit of space we have in our homes. And of course, one challenge we all have is how to get the most out of our storage areas. Now we'll look at several different storage areas in the home, but the first we want to look at is a typical bedroom closet. Now, this closet's about 2 feet deep, about 6 feet wide. You've got the closet rod that's about 5 feet off the floor with the shelf above it. Very typical use of a space like this, but not the most efficient. Now the homeowner that's about to tackle this project is Lisa Wages, and Lisa, obviously one of your son's closets.
Actually, this is my 2 teenage boys share this room, so this is their closet. And you know, it's, as a mom, it's just so frustrating to come in here and try and put things away because there's not a place for everything. And it's frustrating for them too because there's nowhere to put it, so they either throw it on the floor or the floor of the closet.
Well, it definitely can, all the space definitely can be used a lot better than that. And what Lisa's decided to do is to hire a company that specializes in home organizational solutions, and makes it a lot easier when you have someone, a company that's familiar with design and they've been through this situation quite a bit, to come in and kind of reorganize it for you. But you got the hard part, having to get rid of all this stuff.
You're right.
As soon as Lisa finishes clearing out the boys' stuff, the pros go to work removing what little bit of hardware there is in this closet. The old hanging rod and shelf come out so that the installers can start from scratch. But before the new stuff goes in, they have to patch the walls and repaint the whole closet so that it has a nice clean look. When the paint is dry, the new hardware starts going in with a single support track mounted on the back wall. Now Brad Tucker's in charge of putting this project together, and he's making sure that this track is attached securely to several studs because it's supporting so much. Next, the major vertical pieces of the puzzle hang from this track to begin subdividing the space. Along the top, fixed shelves add stability to the growing structure and creates the largest horizontal surface in the new closet. There are also fixed shelves across the bottom which allow the space in between to be filled with adjustable shelving. Now the center section is also set up for some real cool hardware like this wire basket and these drawers to organize some of the smaller items. As soon as Brad finishes putting the new closet together, Lisa is right on his heels, ready to move her boys into the reorganized space. Brad, I'm really surprised at how quick this came together. Now, how does the whole process start? Because every homeowner has a different need for their closets.
First, we sit down with the homeowners and assess what their needs are and determine what they're storing in their closets, and then we sit down on our laptop and design something for them and show them in 3D, and then they can kind of tweak it from there, and we come up with a custom design that matches their specific needs.
Yeah, that's got to help a lot though, because many homeowners have a little trouble visualizing what a particular space will look like, especially if they've seen the same old closet over and over. Now,
right.
After you're get through that process, then well, it only takes just a little while to get it in place.
We do a lot of the prep work in our warehouse, and then it's just an assembly job once we get it here, and it's not very disruptive at all.
That's great. Now, when you're going over everything with the homeowners, I guess you almost have to get a little personal.
That's
from
right.
the standpoint of if they have long hanging dresses or long coats and that kind of thing. I think here with the boys that are in this room, they have mostly just the short need for the racks and so forth. So
Right.
It makes it able to cram a lot more in here, I guess.
They sure can.
Okay, now I know this is not a do-it-yourself type system, so what are we looking at as far as overall cost? I know things change from one part of the country to
Right.
the other, but what's the approximate installed cost?
This is
here?
about an $1,100 to $1,200 project that we install for them, and you know, some of the components that drive the cost are drawers and baskets, and we could certainly make a more affordable closet with more open space and more hanging space.
And most of the closets you do, I guess, are the white finish?
Most of them are, and we warehouse that, and so we can turn it around quickly, but it also comes in other wood finishes.
I see. Well, this is probably the most common need for some organization in most people's houses, but you do a lot more than just closets.
We do. We do laundry rooms and pantries, garages, and home offices as well.
I see. Well, this is definitely an improvement here. Thanks a lot, Brad. Now, Joe has a tip for you if you're having a little trouble figuring out how to organize your workspace.
While we're talking about saving space around the house, let me show you a great way to build a space-saving workbench. This is great for all your home improvement projects, woodworking projects, even arts and crafts. It starts with a hollow core door. This is a door that I salvaged from an old closet remodeling. And it's hollow core, meaning it's hollow in the middle, so it's lightweight, makes it perfect for a portable workbench. Then I bought 2 collapsible sawhorses, and I screwed them to the door with 1 1/4 inch drywall screws. Now, because this is a hollow core door, it's lightweight, but it has a solid wood frame that runs around just the perimeter of the door. So when you drive in the screws, be sure to keep them close to the edge of the door so you catch some good solid wood. Now, when you're ready to put the workbench away, you simply pull up the legs and fold them in. And when you get them all folded down, you get a really nice small package that you can store almost anywhere. Then when you're ready to work, you slide the legs back into their sockets, turn it over, and you're ready to work.
This week we're trying to help you eliminate any wasted space you may have in your home, and one of the areas that always need a little organization, a bedroom closet. Now earlier we showed you how a company completely reorganized an existing closet. It made a big difference in it, but you can do it yourself just like this homeowner did when he revamped his son's closet. Basically he has a rod here and another rod here, great use of the space, and then on either end he has plenty of shelving for all the little games and odds and ends that boys will accumulate. Now, this takes a little bit of basic carpentry skills, a little bit of time, and of course, a little bit of materials, but it's very easy to put this together and reorganize your own closet. Now, another area of the home that's notorious for being quite a magnet for a little bit of everything and really needs some reorganization is your laundry room.
And that's especially true when you've got a laundry like this one. This is called a walk-through laundry for obvious reasons. You come in through the garage, you walk through it to get to the kitchen. Now that means it's very convenient, easy access, but there's some disadvantages too, because this is a major traffic artery. You've got the family walking in from this side, you've got some small children here. The first thing they want to do is put stuff down that's in their hands. So books, toys, clothes, all kinds of things get laid right here. Just like Danny said, it becomes a magnet. The homeowner knew something had to change, so recently he came in here and actually took a lot of advantage of the wasted space. But I don't want you to look at it just yet. Let me show you what it looked like before. The laundry wasn't a huge mess, but it certainly didn't make full use of the space available. In fact, the laundry basket caddy was a great idea, but it just didn't handle enough baskets for this family. The only other storage was a single wire shelf over the washer and dryer, which was pretty much maxed out. So for starters, everything had to go, just like Lisa's closet. But in this case, the homeowner, Scott, was taking on the work himself. It became obvious how overloaded the wire shelf was when he took it out, so the new stuff would have to be sturdy. Scott chose medium density fiberboard for his shelving, and he began by ripping it down into 16 and 12-inch widths on a table saw. Then he laid out the locations for the cleats that would support the shelves and marked the studs. Now to speed up the work, he coated all of the materials with primer and the first coat of paint before cutting them to length and installing them in the laundry. 1x4 cleats connect all of the door casings so the upper shelf can run all the way around the room just above the door height. To replace the laundry basket caddy he removed, Scott planned a unit to run all the way from the floor up to this overhead shelf. 1x2 cleats divide it into 6 equal sections, which were transferred to the wall once it was in place. A brace on the other side of the window will add strength and support a small hanging rod over the dryer. The upper shelf is notched with a 45-degree cut on each end so that when the other pieces are added, their opposing cuts will overlap and support each other. Opposite the washer and dryer, a narrow set of shelves uses what little space is left between the two doors when they're open. Once he got it all together and touched up the paint, there was plenty of space for baskets, 3 times more overhead shelving, and just the right amount of hanging space. Plus, the new shelf between the doors turned out to be the perfect size for detergents, bleaches, and other laundry products. The cleats behind the doors even created some great opportunities to hang brooms and mops.
Speaking of laundry rooms, one of the chores we often do there, ironing clothes. And no matter how big your laundry room is, it's hard to find the space for a full-size ironing board. The solution? The fold-down version. Though these things have been around for decades, they're not exactly like the model your grandmother used.
Ironing and ironing centers have changed over the years to make a stylized product that will fit not just in your laundry room, but in a master bedroom closet, a very attractive unit that has a number of features. Easily installed, they fit within existing stud dimensions. They can be electrified and they don't have to be. Features that allow you to operate in a doorway, easily adjusted in many different ways. Different cabinet options to fit your decor. They fit different irons and all the accessories that you might need to make it a very effective unit.
Before you start the installation of your folding ironing board, you may want to check out the new tool that Emily has for us on our best new product of the week.
Sometimes the simplest chores around the house can become very complicated very quickly. Like putting that new mirror that you just bought on the wall seems easy enough, right? That is until you try to find a stud so that you can hang it. Now, an ordinary stud finder will do the job as long as you don't have lath or plaster walls. But if you do, well, now there is a solution. This is the Metalliscanner M40, and it's from Zircon. It can identify the pattern of nails that hold wooden lath to the studs within a plaster wall. It also gives you the ability to find both magnetic and non-magnetic metal deep within other materials. And this allows you to find things like plumbing pipe, ductwork, and rebar that are beneath the surface before you drill holes or drive fasteners. And what really makes the Metalliscanner versatile is that in addition to finding metal beneath drywall and plaster, it also works on paneling, tile, stucco, and even concrete. Now at about $40, it costs a bit more than some stud finders, but considering all the extra things that it can find, I think it's worth the price.
This week we're talking about making the most out of the space we have. And so far we've looked at some pretty good ways to maximize storage space. Man, we all need more of that. But for many people, it isn't just storage they need more living space in general. Let's face it, families grow, our needs change, and we just need more room. But what if a new home isn't in the budget or you just don't want to move? Well, that's a story I've heard hundreds of times over the years as a remodeling contractor, but to make matters worse, there isn't always room or money to build onto your home. But often you'll find that space that's already available. It just needs to be converted to usable living space. If you start looking around your home, you might be amazed at the options you'll find to create more room. One of the most obvious and popular options is the basement because it's completely enclosed and usually pretty accessible. But there are some challenges to a basement conversion, and one of them is all the mechanical elements like plumbing and ductwork which are routed through this space. They can break up the area, making it barely usable, but with a little creativity, you can frame walls and ceilings around them and even use those as opportunities to make the living space more interesting. Now, because they're mostly or completely below ground, natural light is hard to come by in a basement. But in some cases, building codes will require you to add windows or increase the size of existing windows in order to create an escape route. But done right, a basement conversion can add some very cool extra space to your home. Now, if looking down doesn't work, how about looking up? Many homes have lots of unused attic space that's perfect for an additional room or two. Here, access is usually an issue since a folding ladder may be the only way to get to and from the attic. But adding a landing and a turn to a staircase is a great way to squeeze it into an existing space. The layout of an attic room is very important because any bracing for the roof that is removed must be handled by the new walls you build. And when you're adding attic space, dormers are the best way to let in more light. Plus, you get a lot of extra square footage as well. If a basement or an attic conversion won't work, how about a garage or carport? If you don't mind parking the car out in the weather, you can grab a lot of space this way and do it pretty inexpensively. But you don't want a garage conversion that looks like a garage conversion, so it's important to do a few things like match the exterior materials to the house, disguise the old garage door opening, and cut back the driveway where it used to be. Now, these areas, like basements, are ideal for playrooms because they offer bulk space that can be set aside for a single purpose. But one of my favorite garage-related renovations is a sunroom I saw recently. Instead of converting the garage itself, the homeowners filled in the space between the house and a detached garage. By building two walls and a roof covered with glass panels, they created a wonderful bright space that must be an ideal place to enjoy the sun on a cold, cold day. Glass doors into this area let the existing house benefit from all of that light, and the old garage windows were shuttered and converted into a nice small entertainment center. But what if the space you call home has no basement, attic, or garage from which to borrow space? Well, that's a situation faced by many owners of condos and co-ops in large cities. Recently, I was in Milwaukee and I got a chance to see how some of these urban dwellers go about finding more space. Now this is a great example of that type of urban living. Now this building was built about 40 years ago as an apartment complex, and over the years it's been changed to condominiums, so it allowed individuals to buy the separate units and renovate them any way they want. Well, one of the most popular renovations in this building has been removing as many walls as they possibly can to make their little bitty space feel a lot larger. It also gave them some great views of beautiful Lake Michigan. But when you start removing interior walls, it can present a storage challenge. In the original floor plan, you entered the apartment passing the kitchen on the left and the door to the bedroom on the right as you moved into the living room. There was almost no view at all from the kitchen because a wall divided it from the living room, and the opening to the dining area was so narrow. Even though these walls blocked the views, they also housed storage in the form of closets, cabinets, and shelving. With the new floor plan, the whole apartment is opened up with views in two different directions, so the storage has been moved into cabinetry. On the outer walls with no windows, the cabinets run floor to ceiling and offer storage of all kinds. Underneath the windows, base cabinets use the space in two different ways. First, they create horizontal storage or workspace on top of them. Second, they have the inside, which features open space with adjustable shelves, as well as roll-out drawers for some of the smaller items. Even the view from the bedroom has been opened up to maximize the feel of space. But again, cabinets offer the storage that was lost from the elimination of the closets. You know, cabinets are a great way to maximize your storage space, but you got to keep in mind, by the time you buy cabinets and have them installed, you spend a lot more money than just simply customizing closets. But if you have a situation like our friends there in Milwaukee where you can really enhance your view, probably well worth the money.
Danny, can you give me some advice on how to hire a decent handyman?
I'll be honest with you, Zeb, hiring a handyman is not easy, and many people have had some fairly bad experiences trying to do so. You know, they may not show up, some don't return calls, and some say they can do a particular type of job and then they do a very poor job. So in order to avoid this kind of disappointment, here's some advice. Before hiring any handyman, ask him or her these questions. How many years have you been in business? How do you price your work? And do they give free estimates? And here's an important one. Do they carry liability insurance? If not, remember that you're responsible for any medical expense and possibly even more if they're injured while they're working for you. Finally, make sure you get a complete detailed description of all the work they plan on doing and exactly what it'll cost. And remember that even though most handymen do have a variety of skills, some jobs are best left to the specialist. This week we've looked at some great ways to maximize space in your home, and we've tried to hit the stuff that will help you the most. Now, whether you intend to do the work yourself or hire a pro like the ones we talked to earlier, there are tons of ways to get more out of the storage areas in your home. Now, you've also seen there are more than a few options when it comes to getting the most from the living space in your home, whether that happens to be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch or a high-rise condo.